Here's a shot of what I wouldn't recommend booming. Here he's doing the crucifixion hold of the boom pole, which means he doesn't have any mobility, no latitude. And notice how he's got the boom kind of slipped around the scrim uh, in front of the leak, in front of the light there. And this is all right. He's probably got it aimed at the right direction. But what if he has to suddenly move? He's going to move the scrim. He's going to knock the light. It's not a very good a method of booming. The best method here, as we can see, is what we call lobing. And when I talk about lobing, I'm talking about that little bulbous pattern that we had when we showed the scope of the frequency of the light of the sound waves coming to the mic. We had the shotgun had the kind of narrow frequency, so that the sphere was elongated, whereas the other mics had a more round frequency intake, so it was getting more ambient sound. But this shotgun, of course, has got that narrower reed, and in order to do that, to get good sound, we call lobing, is because the widest area of the lobe on that sphere with the shotgun is right towards the top, but to the sides. So with the mic pointed at his chest here, the peak of that sphere is pointed at his chest, but the highest point of that lobe bending out on the sides of that sphere is where the man's mouth is. So when we point the mic at a 45-degree angle, kind of at the chest, we're going to get the voice at its best frequency, called lobing, L-O-B-I-N-G. Here we have an outdoor shoot, which requires a different set of activity, in the sense of we have to move with the talent, which requires good physical endurance and pacing. And we have a Wookiee on there because there's going to be wind noise, and we've got everything set well. But as this dialogue occurs between these two actors, this gentleman's going to have to move the mic back and forth to whomever is talking. So it's got to be pointed here at the 45-degree angle. It's very good. He's almost got it at the chest vector. And then he's going to, if she replies, he's going to have to spin that pole so that the shotgun mic is pointed towards her as he's moving backwards. But as we do that, like this girl here, as we do that, as we twist that boom pole back and forth to catch the dialogue, we call that cueing. So I'm going to cue on the person talking, and then I'm going to pivot that pole to cue on the other person talking back and forth. So when we say, could you cue on the right actor, we're talking about the person who's emitting the sound. Here we can see a boom operator in action with the extra long extension on the pole, because they're going to go down track, and so he can't be tripping over the track. He's got to be able to extend that pole to get the sound. And as this person is here following the camera off the edge of this platform, you can see the boom operator is right underneath the crane there. So again, very delicate dance they have to do to keep out of the shot and not trip. Here I think is a classic shot of a boom operator doing the right method. He's got the goalpost H method. He's got sunglasses on because he does not want to catch the eye of the talent, to distract him with the eye line. He's got it pointed at the 45-degree angle at this gentleman's chest. He's going to get very good sound, as is this boom operator here, who's got his big Wookiee, almost maybe a blimp underneath there, because out here on this field there probably is a bit of wind, but he's got it up, pointed exactly at that right position, lobing it perfectly to get the sound of these women's voices, as is this gentleman here. You can see that he's got the goalpost position. He's looking at his mixer to see the levels. He's actually mixing and booming at the same time. He's seeing the levels he's getting, make sure there's nothing clipping, it's recording right. He's a one-man band, but he's got the mic pointed in the perfect right direction, as is this woman here, who's got a longer shotgun kind of throw on the mic here, but she's got the correct position, aiming. Again, look at it. That's aimed at his chest. It's going to lobe out to get his voice just perfectly. Notice on the right we have the courtesy 4x4 floppy for the camera so that they don't get sun in their eyes. And I love this, just the grace, the majesty, the balletic movement of this long boom pole extended. And she's got the right movement of her body, so she's balanced it perfectly, and in order to catch the dialogue of the gentleman on the left, pointed perfectly again at his chest to catch a dialogue. If she moves that mic towards the woman, she'll be cueing it to her. And this gentleman is doing the same balletic motion as he leans back to get an arc to the boom mic. You can see it's a wonderful dance. It's actually a joy to watch on the set. It's graceful if it's done right. This gentleman here, not doing the goalpost H in Les Mis because he's not really getting the sound of the actors, so he doesn't have to do the 45 lobing. He's just getting probably the sound of the street, and so he's relaxed in his kind of flagpole setup. He's getting mostly ambient sound because if you read about the making of this movie, the man who won the Oscar, getting sound on it, was really using mostly wireless mics, so he used the boom for more ambient sound, as you would in this big battle scene here. Once it gets going, that boom mic might move, but it's not going to move into the action much. It's not going to get confused with the fighting. It's going to get the sound of the fighting, and if they got any dialogue, they'll hope to get it on wireless mics. Here, if you look at the boom operator, got a strange kind of holding of the boom, but you can see as this woman is heading to the gate, and the person she's going to be talking to our right, you can tell that they blocked the scene, so we know that he's not got the first dialogue that she does. So the boom operator is pointing it towards her at the right angle, so when she gets to the gate, it will capture her sound. Then he'll have to cue over to the gentleman on the right. Here we have an empty room because we're trying to get what we call room tone. Now, room tone is the sound of an environment in which dialogue was recorded. So after you've shot the scene, you call for room tone when you're moving on to the next scene if you're going to a different location. And room tone is used to provide a consistent background, or as air fills up to help smooth out a soundtrack and eliminate any holes in the background. As the name implies, room tone refers to the sound of an interior location. For exterior locations outside, you need to capture 30 seconds of natural sound, also called area tone. Some sound mixers use the term ambience loop, but most of us know it as room tone. To record room tone or an area tone, they have to use the same mic that they used when they recorded the original scene, when they did the original shot. So if you want stellar, sound to come out in an environment to help the editor for dialogue, you need to help the sound team build a background for the shot so that it's consistent from scene to scene. So we call it getting room tone. Sometimes when you edit two different clips together, you have to bridge that edit so it doesn't pop. You have to have that smooth background sound so it's easily unrecognizable as you edit. Here is a gentleman who's getting room tone in a police firing line here, and this is going to, I don't know how he's going to keep his ears from getting blown out, but we'll talk more about that when we talk about mixing. But yeah, he's getting room tone of these people shooting, and this gentleman out here, this is what it looks like when you do get room tone on the set. We call for 30 seconds, everybody's quiet, the scene's over, as you can tell with the two actors, and everybody shuts up, and the sound boom operator stands there as he looks and gets his 30 seconds of ambient sound for the mix later on.